When our emotions are not expressed, they don't leave us. They go into our body even deeper. The only way for emotion to be released and the patterns that occur because of these suppressed, stored emotions is to feel them. When we feel them, we heal them. Watch this video. Our intuition and the messages from our intuition become very clear when we heal our emotional wounds caused by suppressed emotion. Until we do that, we are reacting out of a historical wound. We are reacting to emotional triggers with rage, insecurity, powerlessness, and other negative behaviors. This happens because we are reacting to something within us that has not released, but in fact grown. Because we have done this our whole lives, and you do it your whole life until you heal it, because we have done this our whole lives, we have learned to not trust our emotion. We don't trust what we feel because we overreact, then we get in trouble, then we get rejected, and we don't understand why what we feel is having such an abundant expression, and we don't understand why we do that or how we're supposed to trust what we feel if this is being validated as wrong most of the time. This is about making the difference between emotional truth and historical wound. When we react out of that historical, unhealed, suppressed emotion, we are creating this distrust with our own emotions, but we're also revalidating the fact that our emotions are wrong, that our emotions somehow don't deserve to be what they are. And this is not coming from a conscious place. This is coming from a wound that needs to be healed. And so what many of us do in this situation is we fall into, because we're attracting from our wound, relationships that will validate the same cycle of invalidating emotions, of making your emotions wrong, of not being able to handle your emotions, of rejecting you when you express an emotion. This is not happening to punish you and make you think that, see, your emotions don't deserve to be validated. What it's actually happening, why it's actually happening, is so that it can bring it back up to the surface so that you can finally own what you feel, make it right, make it okay, and love it back into integration, so that we integrate that emotion back into ourselves so that it can get out of our body, we can feel it, and we can start to heal it. You guys know I always say you got to get real about how you feel so you can heal. When you get real about what you're feeling and you don't allow someone else to reject it and then you agree with them and reject it too, but instead you see that the pattern that you've created is someone who will probably invalidate you or reject your emotions, and you get the opportunity to own them, to love them, and to feel them back into the healing dimension. This is what I'm encouraging you to do if you're watching this video. We don't need to attract this pattern anymore once we heal it, but the only healing that can be done is from within ourselves. Think about it. If someone else was able to heal this for us, we would constantly be looking outside of ourselves, which is the opposite of empowerment. If we heal this within ourselves by relating to the issue totally different, by relating to ourselves totally differently, by loving ourselves and finally giving our emotion what it has always deserved, which is validation and love and unconditionality, then what you are doing is you're creating a ripple effect in your environment to be treated the same. It may not be that person that just triggered that for you, but it will be a more healthy environment. It will be one that you always deserved and never received. This is the first way that we start healing these wounds. We start taking our power back. We stop giving it away when someone says, what you're feeling isn't okay with me. How you're reacting isn't okay with me. You say, but it's okay with me. And as you start giving yourself that validation and that unconditional love, You don't need to react so much anymore. You don't feel as triggered anymore. You may notice it. You may become the observer of your experience, which is also the second point here, is not only do we first need to totally validate and love our emotion, our reaction, whatever it may be, train ourselves to be unconditional because someone else wasn't towards us. But secondly, we have to get to that point where we observe what we're feeling. We see that trigger come up and we don't need to react because we internally give ourselves that validation that we need. So, if you're feeling, especially over holiday seasons, if you're feeling extreme emotion, if you're around maybe the original people that you experience this with, the really important thing to know is it will never come from someone else or outside of you. You're no longer a child that needs your emotions to be validated by the person that keeps you safe and secure. You are now the person that keeps you safe and secure, not your boyfriend, not your girlfriend, not your parent, but you. And if you can be okay with your emotions and you can drop any judgment you have on your emotions and you can allow your emotions back into your own heart so you don't have to hang out somewhere in your body and react or feel sick, it goes towards your weakest link. Do you get migraines a lot? Do you get stomach aches a lot because you literally can't stomach this feeling of not being validated? Do you get headaches because you literally can't believe that this is still happening? Do you get stuck in the throat because your truth is being suppressed? We can end this pattern. And it's really about how we relate to ourselves in this issue. We take our power back, we love ourselves, and we validate our emotions. You deserve it. I love you guys. Have a great week.